I'm Tyler, and after graduating from college, I joined a major food manufacturer. This year marks my 10th year with the company. I think I'm fairly good looking, but I'm still single. When I was a newcomer, I was completely green, but thanks to some great mentors and my own efforts, I've grown to become a section chief, now in charge of several subordinates. Though I've never heard it directly, I believe my team looks up to me. Given that our company is somewhat traditional, we often have social drinking sessions, where I've helped my team with work issues and personal matters, which might be why they respect me. But that's just my speculation. In this role, I've become somewhat of a mentor to the newcomers. Over the past few years, I've trained quite a few new employees, but this year, there's a particularly assertive woman among them. Tyler, I need a favor. One day, when Ethan, the department head, approached me about this year's new recruits, this is how the conversation started. It was more of a request than a consultation. What's up? You're being quite formal all of a sudden. Well, it's about a woman named Madison Clark. Clark, Jer, doesn't ring a bell, does it? The same name as President Clark, Hunt could it be? Yes, she's the daughter of President Clark. President Clark's daughter. Does that mean she gets special treatment? No, President Clark insists on not giving her any special treatment and wants her to be treated like anyone else. Even so, it's going to be a bit difficult to deal with, isn't it? That's the thing. She's the pampered daughter of Mr. Clark, who's quite the doting parent. To put it bluntly, she's quite spoiled. The typical traits of a CEO's daughter. Apparently, she's very willful, always gets what she wants, and is moody, refusing to do anything she dislikes. That does sound troublesome. Wait, are you saying this because? Ethan smiled slyly and said, you catch on quick. We're planning to assign her to your department, and we want you to be her mentor. So it's already been decided. With your track record and your reputation for being caring, it was decided you're the best fit. So, that's the situation. I'm counting on you. With that, Ethan patted me on the shoulder and left. Wait, hold on, Ethan. Left behind, I felt gloomy and headed to the break room to drink some coffee and gather my thoughts. Seriously, without even considering my opinion, maybe I should refuse. The black coffee tasted more bitter than usual. But then again, I hadn't met her yet, and it's not fair to judge based on rumors alone. After finishing my coffee, I decided, well, I might as well accept this as part of the job and give it a shot, and threw the empty cup in the trash before returning to my desk. And then, the day of the new recruit's arrival came. I saw fresh-faced new employees in their crisp suits all around. Their nervousness was evident in their faces and demeanor, which I found somewhat endearing. The anticipated new recruit was also assigned to our department. Anxious and hopeful about what kind of heiress she would be, I waited, but the start time had long passed. Especially since new recruits were supposed to arrive 30 minutes early. Yet, the heiress was nowhere to be seen. Ryan, the manager, was supposed to introduce her during the morning assembly but was flustered by her absence, leaving everyone in the department feeling uncomfortable. As her designated mentor, I tried to contact her, but she didn't answer her phone, leaving me at a loss. It seems something must have happened. Well, without her here, we can't do the introduction. For now, everyone, please start your work. Ryan nervously announced the cancellation of the morning assembly. 10 or 20 minutes might be excusable due to train delays, but she didn't show up even after 1 or 2 hours. As lunchtime was approaching, an unfamiliar woman entered the room. Dressed in glittery, flamboyant attire with heavy makeup. Her appearance was quite out of place for a food company, drawing everyone's attention. Who is that? I wondered. Everyone there must have thought the same thing. Upon entering the room, the woman looked around, grabbed someone nearby, and said, "Where's my seat? I was told to come here starting today." Excuse me, but who might you be? Don't you know who I am? I'm Madison Clark. I was told to work in Sales Division 3. She said this quite loudly, so everyone in the room turned their attention to her. If you're with Sales Division 3, your desk would be over by that window. Is that so? With that, she confidently walked towards us. Is this Sales Division 3? Where's my desk? Ryan stood up and hurried over to her. Are you Madison Clark? Your desk is over here. I'm the manager of the Supply Management section in Sales Division 3 where you've been assigned. Really? Is that so? And this is Tyler, who will be in charge of your training. Tyler, this is Madison Clark, who's been assigned to us, so I'll leave the rest to you. With that, Ryan quickly returned to his desk. I'm Tyler, assigned to guide you. I've been instructed to educate you on various work-related matters. Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Her dismissive attitude irked me a bit, but having been forewarned, I managed to keep my composure. There's something I want to say before we get to work. I was about to address her tardiness today, but her response was unexpected. Hey, I'm a newcomer, you know. Aren't you going to welcome me? Normally, you'd welcome a new person, right? Everyone's just ignoring me and fiddling with their computers, and the atmosphere's so gloomy here. He'll think she was expecting a welcome. I was so taken aback that I was at a loss for words. This was a level of selfishness beyond the rumors. However, reminding myself that this was part of the job, I steeled myself to proceed with the training. Madison, do you know what time it is? It's almost 12 o'clock. Huh? How would I know that? You don't know the time. I don't have a watch, and my phone's battery died, so I need to charge it, right? What is she saying? I felt like I had to re-educate her from elementary school. Just then, she said, Hey, how long do I have to stand here? Where's my desk? Hurry up and show me. This attitude was almost too much to bear, and I involuntarily clenched my fists. Seeing this, Ryan quickly grabbed my arm, attempting to calm me. It seemed more like he was trying to save his own skin rather than genuinely mediating the situation. Haha, well then, I'll leave the rest to you. With that, he returned to his desk. As if dodging sparks. Somehow regaining my composure, I thought. Annoying as it is, I have to get through this as part of the job, and got started with the actual training. For starters, your office supplies and a business computer have been prepared. Your desk is next to mine. Store the supplies in the desk and set up the computer. You can understand how by reading this manual. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, what a hassle. She sighed heavily and reluctantly began to organize and set up her workspace. The one who wants to sigh here is me. What a challenging new recruit I've been saddled with. Anyway, she's been assigned to our department and will be working in sales. I intended to start by instructing her on the job. I taught her how to negotiate with clients and the proper way to greet, but the CEO's daughter showed no enthusiasm, saying, Why do I have to do this kind of work? There's no way I can feel motivated with tasks like these. Sighing, I explained, Our department is in sales. We need to sell our products to clients. Selling products to our clients is your job. Focus on the task at hand for now. She reluctantly received the training, pouting all the while. Despite her severe lack of common sense, I methodically proceeded with the training schedule. Finally, it was time for her sales debut. I chose a safe, long-standing client from my contacts to accompany her to. It was meant to be just an introduction, so all she needed to do was smile in the background, but given her past behavior, I doubted she'd stay quiet. I repeatedly reminded her, the client is very important, please be mindful of your behavior, but I couldn't shake off my anxiety. The client, naturally curious about the new recruit, asked various questions, leaving me on edge and utterly exhausted. Somehow, we managed to get through the visit to the client without any major issues. The person in charge at the client's side was kind and overlooked some minor indiscretions because she was a newcomer, which was a relief. However, feeling this exhausted after just one client meeting made me anxious about when she would be able to stand on her own. Before I knew it, it was almost time to clock out. Sigh, why do I have to go through all this? I was lost in thought, pondering this. Suddenly, I realized she was nowhere to be seen. I looked inside the convenience store, thinking she might have gone in, but she wasn't there either. She was nowhere to be found, neither ahead nor behind us. We needed to go back to the office to prepare a report, so I wondered where she could have gone and tried calling her. Then she answered, "Oh, Tyler, do you need something?" "It's not that I need something. Where are you right now?" "We need to go back to the office and prepare the report." "What? But it's already past working hours, isn't it?" "So, I'm on my way home in a taxi. Was I supposed to go back directly? Anyway, I'm heading home." "Hey." She just said what she wanted and hung up. What a display of selfishness. I was at my wit's end with patience. And the next day, as usual, she came to the office late, and I caught her. "Come here." "What's the matter all of a sudden?" "Just come with me." Unfazed by my stern demeanor, she reluctantly followed with her usual attitude. I took her to the conference room and made her sit down. "Why did you leave on your own yesterday?" "Well, because it was the end of the workday, and I don't want to do overtime, so I went home." "Listen, at least tell me before you go. If you disappear without a word, I'm going to worry." "Dash, you're scary. Isn't it obvious to go home after work hours without saying anything? It's common sense to inform before leaving. Don't you even understand that basic principle?" "Tyler, you're scaring me." "Of course, with your current attitude, you're not only failing in sales, but as a person too." "What about yesterday? Why didn't you say anything to me?" "You should have said you were leaving, right? You'll end up isolated at the company, you know. Do you understand?" "Well, you don't have to say it like that. It's you who's making me say it." I let out my anger in a torrent of words. This exchange went on for about an hour. In the end, she fell silent, unable to retort, but after saying my piece, I noticed a change in her demeanor. Her mouth was turned down in a frown, her eyes were eerie, and her fists were clenched tightly. Yet, she was still glaring at me. As she opened her mouth, she yelled, "How dare you lecture me? Just you wait," and stormed out of the room. At that moment, I wished I could punch my past self for agreeing to take on her training. Assuming she wouldn't return to her desk for a while, I went to the break room to kill time with a coffee. When I thought it was about time and went back to my desk, Ryan approached me with a pale face, asking, "What on earth did you do to her?" "What do you mean?" "I was just giving her some educational guidance." She left crying. What? I couldn't believe she had actually gone home. It was like shooting herself in the foot. Ryan went on about being gentler and reminding me she was still new, but when I retorted, "So, Ryan, are you going to take care of her? She's a handful, you know," he fell silent. The following day, Ryan informed me that President Clark wanted to see me. "President Clark asked for you to come. He said there's something important to discuss." Well, it's definitely not going to be good news. The other employees were whispering among themselves. Everyone knew the background, and the fact that she was the president's daughter was common knowledge. Analyzing the information given, the answer became clear. "Sigh, I understand. I'll go to the president's office for a bit." "Yes, please do that." I guess this is the end of my career. I felt like I had received a death sentence. Considering her personality, it's highly likely she complained about me to her father, President Clark. Given her personality, she likely exaggerated the story. I wonder if I can get by on my severance pay and savings, but will I even receive severance pay? Not if I'm fired for misconduct. With these thoughts, I headed to the president's office. My mood and my steps were heavy. I knocked on the door of the president's office. "It's Tyler from the sales department." Come in." "Yes, excuse me." As I opened the door and entered, I saw Ethan and President Clark inside. This is definitely the end for me. As I stood there frozen, thinking this, President Clark said in a surprisingly mild manner, "Sorry to call you during work hours. Thank you for coming. Please, have a seat here." Confused by his demeanor, I took a seat as suggested. Then, President Clark suddenly apologized to me. "I'm sorry for everything. It seems my daughter has been causing you a lot of trouble." "No, well, yes, but..." It was the first time in my life that President Clark had apologized to me. While I was still bewildered, President Clark, smiling kindly, began to speak earnestly. "My daughter has been through a lot." To summarize President Clark's story, when he was starting the company, his wife worked tirelessly alongside him. However, her relentless efforts led to illness and hospitalization. Then, it was just the two of them, Mr. Clark and his daughter, at home. During her sensitive years, she craved her mother's affection, which led to her venting her frustrations on her father. Mr. Clark, busy with work and unable to give her attention, tried to compensate by fulfilling all her desires. This approach backfired, resulting in her spoiled behavior. He realized his mistake in parenting too late. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sympathize with her situation. She was taking out her frustrations with her father at work. It's what they call acting out, right? While her feelings towards her father were none of my business, I wished she wouldn't exercise her privileges within the company. Firstly, I apologize for putting you in charge of educating my daughter. Honestly, I've failed as a father. President Clark apologized again. However, I heard you are well regarded for your mentoring within the company. Although my daughter doesn't listen to me, she has started to change a bit since being under your guidance. This shows that interesting her to you was not a mistake. Okay. I didn't know what to say, but it seemed the worst-case scenario was avoided. Given the circumstances, I may have caused you some concern, but actually, it's the opposite. I want you to continue your efforts. Please be as strict as you need with my daughter, without considering my position. Yes, I understand. I'll do my best to meet your expectations. It seemed President Clark realized that simply pampering his daughter was not for her best interest. How about this? I leave everything regarding my daughter to you. No matter what she says, I won't interfere. So please continue to educate her strictly in your own way. Yes, I understand. I'll do my best. Sorry to involve my personal matters, but I'm counting on you. The outcome was unexpected, and I felt a heavy responsibility, but it was a relief to know I was trusted with such an important task. I decided to change my approach towards her. The next day, when she casually strolled in past the start time as usual, I confronted her. "Madison, do you even realize what time it is?" Tyler, good morning. It's 10:30, right? It seems I've been too lenient with you up until now. From here on out, I'm going to be thorough. Just be prepared for that." "Thorough? What do you mean? Are you even allowed to say that?" "Yes, I am. Say whatever you want. First off, why are you arriving at this time? You did learn the company's working hours during your orientation, didn't you?" Yes. "So, what time is our company supposed to start work?" 8:50 a.m. "So, you're telling me you adhere to the quitting time but not the start time? How does that make any sense?" "Well, I'm just not a morning person. If that excuse were valid, nobody would be here at 8:50 a.m. What time do you usually wake up in the morning?" "Currently, at 9 a.m. I'm astounded. 9 a.m. is already past the start time. Sorry. Starting tomorrow, set your alarm for 6 a.m. I always make it a point to be at the office by 8:30 a.m. You should do the same." "What? No way, that's impossible. Furthermore, from now on, there will be penalties for being late." Upon hearing this, Her face turned bright red. She was clearly furious. "Can you even do that, Tyler? Do you have the right?" "I do. It's been decided. I've been given full authority by President Clark regarding your case. This means President Clark can't intervene in the decisions I make." That's tyranny. Abuse of power. Indeed. I'll make good use of my authority. Starting tomorrow, there will be penalties for lateness. If that doesn't solve the issue, I'll consider docking your pay. That's harsh. If you don't like the penalties, then work diligently. It's as simple as that. Yes. Reluctantly, she agreed to my terms. Today's tardiness can't be helped, but at least make yourself presentable. Our company deals with food, and all employees must maintain cleanliness. You're in sales. The client the other day might have been lenient, but not everyone will be. Start by dressing appropriately and improving your language. Muttering something under her breath, she seemed to be complaining. "Do you have something to say?" "No, I understand. You can complain all you want, but watch your language. You're a working adult. Behave accordingly." Yes, I made a declaration of intent in front of everyone. However, seeing her still looking dissatisfied, I continued the lecture in a meeting room. First, I emphasized the importance of proper grooming. As employees handling food, it's crucial to maintain a certain level of awareness regarding hairstyle, nail length, and the basic common sense expected of working professionals. As I pointed out each issue, she retorted with complaints. "What's wrong with my hairstyle as long as it's properly set? And if my nails are neatly done with nail polish, that shouldn't be a problem, right?" That's when I stressed the importance of maintaining a professional demeanor as part of a food company. Even if not directly working on site, the same level of cleanliness and hygiene is expected. She argued about individuality and personal rights, but I made it clear, don't confuse selfishness with individuality. Change had to come from her, or it would be meaningless. I persisted patiently. Grooming isn't just about clothes. Pay attention to your hairstyle and nail length too, even if you're not in the production area. As employees of a food company, we all need to be mindful. Even my hairstyle and nails. But I'm not making the food, am I? It's a basic principle. Employees of a food company cannot afford to give off a bad impression. It's essential to maintain cleanliness, and part of that is proper grooming. I understand. Though she seemed unconvinced, I took her agreement as a positive sign for now. I decided to implement my new approach, but the very next day, she was late again, as expected. "Madison, what happened today?" All I heard was "I'm on my way." "Well, I just couldn't wake up early all of a sudden." "I see, understood. Then, as warned, I'll have to impose a penalty. Your punishment is cleaning the toilets, both men's and women's." Toilet cleaning. Don't complain. This is how it's going to be. "But the cleaning lady usually does that." "So what? Learn by doing it together. Come with me," I said, grabbing Madison's arm and taking her to the toilets. Then, I handed her the cleaning supplies. However, she threw the cleaning tools down. "I can't do this. It's impossible." "Oh dear, you shouldn't treat the tools so roughly." A voice came from behind. It was the cleaning lady. "Is this the girl Tyler was talking about?" "I see. She seems like she could use some toughening up." "Yay, it's her. Sorry to bring this on you so suddenly, but she's quite a handful. Please, take care of her." "Don't worry, leave it to me." "What's with this lady?" Madison muttered. "This is Evelyn, known to everyone in the company for her nurturing nature. She helps with the training of new recruits every year. She's even stricter than me. Go on, introduce yourself." "Hi, I'm Madison from sales. Pleased to meet you." I'm Evelyn. Been in this job for 15 years. Born and raised in downtown New York. There's no one more meddlesome than me around here. I'll teach you how to clean properly. Just you wait." Evelyn laughed heartily. Everyone just calls her the cleaning lady, but Evelyn is much more than that. Madison was dumbfounded. Now, pick up those tools. They're our weapons, and we need to treat them with care. I've never cleaned toilets before. Well, this is a good chance then. I'll teach you thoroughly. You can go home until it's done, so be prepared. Madison looked at me desperately. That's how it is. You might not be useful at work, but you can still contribute here. Learn from this and reflect on your actions. All right. Yes. All right. I'll lend you a spare apron, so get ready. Hurry up, or I'll splash water on those pretty clothes. Thanks for your help, and sorry for the trouble, I said to Evelyn. Don't mention it. I went back to work, but I couldn't focus, worrying about how things were going. About 30 minutes later, I went to check on them. Look, if you just draw circles like that, the dirt won't come official. You're not efficient at all. If you keep this up, we'll be here till morning. Don't you know how to clean? Make sure to get the brush into the corners. Panting, Madison asked, like this. Yes, that's better, but you need to put more effort into it. I can't anymore. My hands are too tired. Oh, come on. You've only done 2 and there are 3 more to go. I'm in my 60s and I do this on every floor every day. And you're already giving up. Kids these days. You should be thanking Tyler, you know. He's taking you seriously. That's why he's doing all this. If he had given up on you, you'd have been out on your ear by now. Really? Why do you think he's bothering with you despite all the trouble? Like me, he sees something in you and wants to help. Really? You're loved, you know. Haha. I was about to say something, but seeing her genuinely work hard, I changed my mind. Sweating and panting, Madison was genuinely trying, showing the effort of someone who's truly striving. Punishment is necessary, after all, and it proved to be effective. From the next day on, her tardiness decreased significantly. The cleaning lady confirmed, she's really capable. She's just been sulking and not showing her true potential. If she's nurtured properly, she could really shine. It was during a session I held on negotiating product delivery prices with Madison as a participant. Unusually attentive, she listened seriously and took thorough notes before approaching me. Tyler, thank you for today's session. It was very informative. Hey, you're surprisingly cooperative today. Did you eat something strange? What are you talking about? I'm being serious here. Sorry about that. So, what's up? Well, what is it? Why do you bother with someone as selfish as me without getting frustrated? It's part of the job. Plus, I want you to become independent quickly. That's why I'm holding these study sessions. So she was aware of her own selfishness. That realization struck me oddly. Do I bring any benefit to you by becoming independent? Of course, there is. What would that be? For starters, I'd be free from unnecessary stress. Come on, answer seriously. Well, if I can entrust work to you, it means less work for me. Madison looked somewhat convinced and remarked, Tyler, you are kind of a softie, aren't you? Just like that cleaning lady. What kind of backhanded compliment is that? Just when I thought you'd become more straightforward, you're still as cheeky as ever. That's just my personality. She turned away in a huff and left the room. Well, her growth was undeniable, even if she remained cheeky. In fact, I had started interesting her with some clients. Checking in with them, I generally received positive feedback. Reflecting on her attitude on the first day of joining, it feels strangely moving to see how much she has changed, almost like a different person. Despite the challenges, I'm glad I didn't give up and continued to mentor her. I must also express my gratitude to the cleaning lady who helped look after her with me. And then, 5 years passed. My guidance at that time was recognized, and I was promoted smoothly to section chief. President Clark even mentioned that part of my promotion was a thank you for that time. Madison had become a supervisor with her own subordinates. I used to think she was just a prickly person, but looking closer, she had her charming points. However, to her subordinates, she had become a fearsome boss. "Can't you do it yet? You won't last long in our company with that attitude. If you're going to be late, call me. Don't just send an email. I won't accept it. Look, dressing up is fine, but remember, we're a food company. Absolutely no long nails. Make sure they're trimmed before you come in." She sounded just like me in the past, guiding her juniors. That stubborn newcomer really changed. Well, she was always bold with her words. I mused over these thoughts. "Tyler, we need to leave soon, or we'll be late for our appointment." Right. Just give me a moment to get ready." Caught daydreaming, I ended up being scolded by Madison. Then, we set off together. "You've changed, haven't you?" "Well, I guess my efforts paid official." "Yes, thanks to your guidance. But isn't your tie a bit loose? You should know better. Appearance is important for a food company employee." She then tightened my tie for me. "Sorry about that, but you still talk too much." "What are you saying? Have you reviewed today's materials? You're the one presenting, remember?" She's still as talkative as ever, but she remembered my birthday and gave me a tie as a gift. It was the first time I wore it today, and she seemed to have noticed. "About that tie? Yeah, thanks for that. I always get scolded for my poor fashion sense. With this, even you can complain, right? Geez, that's not what's important." Then, under her breath, she muttered, "Such an oblivious," but I couldn't quite catch the rest. What was she saying? "If today's presentation goes well, maybe we should celebrate together." With that thought, I hurried to the client's location. My name is Richard. I run several companies and am known as a successful entrepreneur, but honestly, I'm not that interested in that aspect of my life. Sure, I'm financially secure and live in a comfortable place, but as long as I can do my job, that's all that matters to me. I love my work so much that I think I'll probably stay single for life. People around me say that as a CEO, I should be able to take it easy, but I prefer to stay involved with the work at the ground level as much as possible. Sometimes, I'd even wear work clothes and go to the site. They say, you don't need to do all that, but for me, it's about having an interest and wanting to be involved. "Hello, Richard." "Hey, Tyler, what's up?" "Actually, this is my childhood friend, Tyler. I lost touch with my classmates from my hometown when I moved to the city, so he's the only close friend I still have. When I left my hometown, I declared I would become a businessman, but everyone laughed and said, such a dreamy idea. At that time, I decided there was no point in keeping in touch with people who didn't believe in me and left with the intention of leaving everything behind. Tyler was the only one who believed in me and supported me then. There are a few others from my hometown who moved to the city at the same time as me, but I only keep in touch with Tyler. Oh no, I've got a bad feeling about this. I know you don't want to mingle with the hometown folks, but I've been asked to gather people for a singles mixer. We're one person short, and it's supposed to be only for people who work at major companies. What? Who's that arrogant person? First of all, I don't work for anyone. Haha. I know you hate it, but it's Jake. I'm sorry I couldn't say no, but all the other people who moved from our hometown are married, and there's no one else to ask. Heck, Jake, just come for the first part, and you can leave early, and you don't have to pay anything, please. I don't mind about the fee. Promise me I can leave after the first part, and that you won't talk about my work, and then I'll go. Awesome, thank you so much. Of course, I won't mention it, and I'll thank you later. Actually, Jake was the last person I went to see from my hometown. He was the one who ridiculed me the most back then. Now, I am a successful entrepreneur as I declared back then and am happy doing the work I love, but thinking about that time still irritates me. Are you serious? Of course I am. There's nothing impossible for a human, right? That's ridiculous. Maybe in our hometown, but do you have any idea how many people are in New York? That's why I'm doing it, right? Listen, you don't understand. So let me tell you, New York is a place where people who are far beyond what we can imagine are making it big. The best we country folks can do is to get a job in a big company and enjoy a stable career. The New York dream is to work for these extraordinary people and enjoy the sweet fruits of their success. I don't think so. Ah, you're so stubborn. Well, fine. I'll just laugh when I see you failing and crying in 10 years. Don't come crying to me for help then. Don't worry, that won't happen. That was Jake for you, a person who held onto such a narrow-minded countryside mentality and for some reason vehemently denied my dreams. Now that I think about it, why did he try so hard to stop me? My future had nothing to do with him. I just don't understand people like that. A few days later. Hello, Richard. Hey, Tyler, what's up? Is the mixer canceled? No, unfortunately, it's still on. I just called to set the date, I'm sorry. Can't be helped. When is it? I'll tell my secretary to keep the day free. It's 2 weeks from now, on Friday. What do you think? Okay, I'll adjust my schedule so I can go straight there from my work outside. Thank you so much, man. We should go out for a meal together sometime. I'm definitely up for that. Tyler is humble and so kind that I used to worry if he could survive in the city. But he's been steadily climbing the corporate ladder at a big company and seems to enjoy his work, which makes me feel relieved. I heard that Jake has landed a job at a decent company, but he seems to be chasing girls by flaunting his money, and this mixer seems to be more of the same. Tyler knows about my relationship with Jake and didn't want to invite me, but Jake insisted on having someone successful to not embarrass himself. He wanted someone with high status but not more noticeable than himself, which put Tyler in a tough spot and led him to contact me. I may be a business owner and technically have a higher status than Jake, but I've kept my real profession hidden from him. And since I'm not interested in romance, Tyler probably thought I'd be an easy choice for this. Because if I'm the type of person who is enthusiastic about love, it will get in Jake's way. The reason I keep my profession secret from everyone except Tyler is due to a past incident. Actually, someone from my hometown found out about my job and started leeching off me. I would have understood if they had asked for a job at my company, but they were asking for loans or permission to use my name. They clearly approached me with the intention of exploiting me, which was unsettling. Given Jake's character, he might approach me solely to get girls or boost his own status. Anyway, I have no intention of helping those who once said my success was absolutely impossible. I'm also involved in the construction business as part of my work, and sometimes I go to the site and work close to give instructions directly. I value building a solid relationship of trust by speaking directly with the site manager, Kevin. This approach ensures that we can support each other in times of need because of our mutual trust. I want to cherish human connections, so even when my subordinates tell me I don't need to go that far, I convince them that I'm doing it because I want to. My subordinates also continue my legacy, valuing the trust they build with clients and other employees, and I'm very proud of them. But perhaps that's why they tell me to slow down a bit, since we're all carrying on with the same intent. I don't want to trouble my subordinates, so I feel the need to get used to delegating more work to them this year. It's not that I don't trust them or that I can't relax without working. I just genuinely love my job and can't help but be involved, so it's impossible for me to just sit back and do nothing. So recently, I've been planning to start a new venture. It's still in the planning stages, but once it gets going, I'll be personally busier, which should help balance my role in the existing company. When this new venture starts, I can shift some of my current workload to my subordinates, easing my involvement. Today, I headed to the site in my work clothes to talk with Kevin about various things. Talking with different people outside gives me a lot of input, which is efficient. Without input, there can be no output. I love my job, but what I really enjoy is managing a business. It's not about making money, but about running a company. How to run a company efficiently. How to increase profits. How to handle problems when they arise. What should be my approach? I like to assemble and execute these things like a game. That's why I am a businessman. Of course, to realize this, I need the strength of reliable employees. Yes, I'm the interfering president who meddles in personnel matters. I want to see and talk to the people who work under me myself. Staffing decisions can make or break a company, so the other employees understand and agree with my involvement in personnel matters. Then, I return to the office still in my work clothes and continue working, although my secretary always asks me to at least change when I'm in the office, but I find it too bothersome and always ignore it. When I mentioned this to Kevin today, he laughed at me. Normally, company executives and wealthy people care about their appearance and wouldn't prefer to wear work clothes, but for me, it's a matter of efficiency, and I don't quite understand their viewpoint. The boardroom and work clothes, you'll get complaints. Why? I'd rather work during the time I'd spend changing. I get that, but what if you have an unexpected visitor? Doesn't it look bad if the president is wearing work clothes? Everyone says that, but I just don't get it. Whether I'm in work clothes or not, it doesn't change the fact that I'm the president. True, when you put it that way, yeah. Right. I don't understand what everyone is so fixated on appearances. Well, there's a matter of etiquette. You have to maintain TPO so as not to offend the other person. Yay, when you put it that way, I guess what Tyler says makes sense too. Today, before the promised mixer, Tyler and I met up and had a meal together. We meet regularly, and today was part of that routine, but we ended up having a lively discussion about my work clothes issue. I'm not fond of people who are obsessed with appearances and status, so I didn't see anything wrong with wearing work clothes. However, Tyler's points made sense, so I decided to keep a few suits in the office for future use. This way, I can adhere to TPO even if there's an unexpected visitor. Tyler always guides me in the right direction without negating my stubbornness. He's a very comfortable friend to be around. Today we talked about Tyler's recent work situation and shared updates. Apparently, he's been worried about his job recently. Until last month, everything seemed smooth, but now he's starting to feel anxious that there might be no future for him at his current company. Last week, a new supervisor was assigned to Tyler, but he doesn't really get along with him. From a business owner's perspective, I told Tyler that if he doesn't get along with his boss, there's no benefit in staying at that company. Waiting for the next personnel change to either move to a different department or for the boss to transfer is inefficient. I believe that we create our own environment. Tyler really understood and said he would seriously consider changing jobs. On the day of the mixer, I had been at a work site earlier, so I went straight to the meeting place in my work clothes. I don't usually get lost, but unusually, I did that day and had to call Tyler. He was waiting for me in front of the restaurant. Hey, over here. Here it is. Got a bit lost. It's a bit hidden. Haha, really appreciate you coming. I'll be leaving soon though. That's why you're still in your work clothes. It's fine. Just stay till the party warms up. As we entered the restaurant, Jake was already sitting there. It had been a long time since I last saw him. I still had memories of the past and hadn't fully processed them, so my mood darkened. Jake, remember me? It's Richard. He came all the way here despite being busy today. Come on, Tyler, give me a break. Huh? You said to invite someone high spec, right? Someone in work clothes is a bit too much. Oh, this is a misunderstanding. No, I was right all along. Long time no see, Jake. Jake, seeing me in my work clothes, started ridiculing me without even greeting me. Tyler, panicking, tried to intervene, but Jake wasn't listening, so I stepped in. Richard, you must be regretting not listening to me. Why would I? Don't act tough. I told you, right? A country boy like you becoming a businessman in New York is impossible, and as expected, you ended up failing and working as a laborer, right? Pathetic. If you had listened to me and got a job like Tyler and me, you'd have a stable life, at least. No, I'm living a stable life. Impossible for a laborer, especially in this scorching summer working outside. You have a limit to physical work. Maybe you should consider a career change. Thanks for the advice. Acting tough again. And come on, wearing work clothes to a mixer. You won't get any girls. I'm fine not being popular, just didn't want to bother changing. Acting tough part 2. I feel sorry for you. Listen, Richard, get a stable job in a big company like me, and the girls will flock to you. It's sweet. I'm not interested in that. I'm genuinely living a good and stable life. What I'm talking about is beyond your definition of stability. You'd be shocked at the difference if you experienced it. I'll forget you didn't listen to me in the past. Want my advice? I can even ask my boss to hire you. Come on, Jake. Richard is actually. Tyler, just be quiet for a bit. I'll teach Richard a life lesson. It's okay, Tyler. I'm kind of interested in what Jake has to say. Tyler was flustered as Jake got completely carried away. At this point, I was curious to see what kind of advice Jake would offer. If he had wisdom for greater success than mine, I wanted to hear it. Okay, getting a bit humble. All right, first step, don't hide being a country boy. Act humble and pure. Why? Because in New York, people with high pride are everywhere. If you openly show you're a country boy and pretend to be clueless, people will naturally take care of you. Easy, right? Usually, these people will pay for you, so just enjoy the free ride. Interesting. His first piece of advice was quite cunning, and I was losing interest in hearing more. But to fully expose Jake's true nature, I decided to hear him out. Next, step 2. Use the money you save from these people to reward yourself. Reward. Yeah, I barely spend any money on eating out. Others pay for it. Then, I use the money I save from entertainment expenses. Interesting. Are you following the conversation? The talk of a successful urbanite must be refreshing for you, huh? Jake, wait a bit. Tyler, it's fine. Listen, you might learn something. Richard, this next one is crucial. Listen up. The last step is to use the extra money for playing around with women. Playing around with women. Jake finally started saying things that made no sense. Using shrewdly saved money for womanizing. It's endlessly tacky and deplorable. Depending on how you play, of course. In mixers like this, don't be stingy and spend money. If women call you cheap, you lose as a man, right? Even if it means going into debt. Spend on women. Going into debt, huh? Yeah. For someone like you, barely making ends meet, the word debt must be heavy. I get it, but don't worry. I'm not saying you should borrow from loan sharks. Use your credit card. Use your card. Credit cards, huh? It makes your payment look smoother and kills 2 birds with 1 stone. I couldn't help but chuckle. First of all, the mindset is incredibly provincial, and I can't understand the desire to womanize using borrowed money. The audacity to deceive people and make them spend their money is also cheap. What on earth is he bragging about? Doesn't seem like you're getting it. Were you listening? I was listening, but what? I don't know. It just seems unnecessary for me. What? Why are you being so arrogant? That's why you're still stuck in manual labor, repeating your past mistakes. Oh, I haven't made any mistakes, and I'm not interested in womanizing. Looking at you just irritates me. You come to New York, live a miserable life, yet you act tall, high and mighty, and don't even listen to others. What's with you? I didn't mean to come off as arrogant, but maybe it's just that we have different values, right? I'm enjoying my life, and Jake, you're happy too, aren't you? You're so infuriating. Of course, I'm happy. I'm the most successful one here. Successful, huh? Haha. What are you laughing at? Stop it, okay. Just as Jake was about to lose his temper and lunge at me, two women arrived. Jake instantly changed his demeanor and sat back down. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Jake. Let's have a fun night. I'm Tyler. Thanks for coming. Our organizer Maria will be a bit late, so let's order some drinks first. Girls, I'm sorry about this mess with the guy in work clothes joining us. I was surprised too because it's different from what I was told. To apologize, I'll cover the girls' expenses tonight. Hey, Jake. Tyler, it's okay. Let him be. Jake, oblivious to the girls' discomfort, continued to disparage me in front of everyone. Tyler tried to intervene, but I stopped him. If there are girls who are swayed by a man who speaks ill of others so openly, they are well matched, and it doesn't bother me. Yeah, go ahead. It doesn't matter what a loser like you says. Is that so? Girls, are you listening? This guy here was my classmate back home. When we moved to New York, he had this ridiculous dream, and I tried to show him reality, but he didn't listen to me at all. And look at him now. I've made a success of myself in New York, as you can see. And he's like this, still working in manual labor in his work clothes. It just proves I was right all along. I was just giving him advice earlier. Jake kept talking and embarrassing himself, while the girls looked down uncomfortably. Tyler was holding his head in his hands. I just stared blankly at Jake's face, waiting for time to pass. Jake was so caught up that he didn't notice the atmosphere. So, I graciously taught him how to survive in New York, using my time and effort, right? Normally, you'd be grateful, right? Getting advice on how not to be miserable anymore is a rare opportunity. But he says he doesn't need my advice. What do you think? Super rude. Right. At least say thank you. Really. So disrespectful. Showing up here in work clothes. Embarrassing. Just ignore him, girls. I'm really sorry for inviting such a loser. And he's such a twisted character. Tyler, it's fine. The girls looked quite uncomfortable, saying they didn't mind. I knew this gathering would end after the first round. While this was happening, the food and drinks arrived, slightly easing the awkward atmosphere. While the girls and Jake were talking, Tyler turned to me. Richard, I'm really sorry about this. Don't worry about it, but maybe you should stop letting him use you. Yeah, I've always been bad at saying no and just went along with things, but I've made up my mind today. I'm done associating with him. You don't have to do that for me, you know, only if it's really bothering you. It is bothering me. I don't want to have, nor do I have, the same values as Jake. Then you definitely shouldn't associate with him. We quietly enjoyed our meal while disparaging Jake's character. Throughout, Jake kept loudly boasting about how successful he was in both his company and society, which was painful to watch. I didn't know the extent of Jake's success, but from my experience, those who inflate their achievements usually don't have much to show, so I was internally hoping his true colors would soon be revealed. Then, the last girl, who was running late, arrived. Sorry for being late. Maria, thanks for coming. No rush, we've just started eating. Jake, Richard, this is Maria, our organizer from the girls' side. Nice to meet you, Maria. Oh, what? Hi Maria, I'm Jake. You're super beautiful. It's a miracle we met. Come, take a seat. Maria seemed startled by something while greeting, but Jake, oblivious, kept talking and urged her to sit down. How can someone be so clueless? How does he even work? Please, stop. Playing hard to get because I touched a pretty girl. That's not the point. Jake, calm down. For some reason, Maria coldly brushed off Jake and approached me. Rare to meet someone like this. Me, yes. Maria, you better not talk to the guy in work clothes. A beauty like you should be with someone high-spec like me. Excuse me, what are you even talking about? And did you just call Richard the guy in work clothes? That's unbelievable. Come on, Maria, don't be mad. Did you know Richard before? Have we met before? Sorry, I don't quite remember. You are so rude. Remembering a beautiful person like her is a miracle for a loser. Successful men remember people they've met. Will you just be quiet? Who do you think you are? Just shut up. Yikes. Suddenly, Maria snapped. The other girls seemed to be supporting her, holding back their laughter. Tyler looked puzzled, watching me and Maria. I'm usually good at remembering faces, but where did we meet? I couldn't recall at all. And Maria was genuinely beautiful, so I should remember her face. You're Richard, the CEO of Fun Group, right? Yes, but I'm an employee at Fun Group. I've never met you, but I've always wanted to. I joined because I was fascinated by your corporate philosophy. Mr. Smith. I see. One of our employees. Awkward to meet here. What? You're kidding. You're not a CEO. That's impossible. Can you stop it already? Richard is one of the top executives in New York, and you've been acting all high and mighty, but stop lying. You don't remember people you've met. Richard, a CEO. No way. I'm not lying. I'm a competent worker. If you can't believe me, just search it. And you're a big liar. We've met before. Jake from Cash Corporation. You never listen to others and keep talking about yourself. You don't remember me, right? Isn't that embarrassing? Huh? The girls burst into laughter, unable to hold it back any longer. A red-faced Jake frantically searched on his phone. What, Richard? You're a CEO, and Fun Group is a famous company, growing the fastest in New York. Why didn't you say anything? I thought it'd be troublesome if someone like you found out. It's risk avoidance. And about the advice you gave me earlier, as a CEO, I'd say drop all of it. You'll end up with no one wanting to associate with you. I'm really sorry for saying this in a private setting, but I love my job so much. I'm totally immersed in it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work at such a wonderful company. In fact, thank you for establishing such an amazing company. It's a bit embarrassing to hear this in front of friends, but I'm glad to hear you're enjoying your work. Just be careful not to end up like me, all work and no play. Usually, I'm involved in the hiring, but I might have missed your branch because of scheduling issues. Keep up the good work at the company. Yes, thank you so much. Hey, Richard, if you're a business owner, this will be quick. I have something to talk about. This party is over. Girls, time to leave. Suddenly, Jake interrupted our conversation with an abrupt demand. Really? How clueless can this guy get? His self-centered way of handling the conversation was causing slight irritation. Jake, if you are going to dismiss the girls, you should at least follow through on your promise. Promise? You said you'd pay for the girls as an apology for my presence causing trouble, right? The first two girls were nodding in agreement. Maria looked at Jake with a cold gaze, her stance clearly conveying a sense of this guy is really bad news. Well, that was before I knew you were a business owner. I thought I was in a higher position, so I was going to take responsibility and pay. But now it's a different story. Come on, Richard. Unbelievable. Such a stingy man. If I had known you were coming, I definitely wouldn't have come today. Just because you're a bit pretty, don't get all high and mighty. If I don't remember you, it means you're just that insignificant. Don't get cocky. Jake. Tyler couldn't hold back and raised his voice in frustration. Is Jake really the kind of man who would say such terrible things to women just to protect his own pride? I'm so appalled I can't even find the words to respond. Girls, don't worry about the money. I'm really sorry about today. Maria, can I contact you later to apologize? Tyler, you did nothing wrong, and you don't need to apologize. Just make sure I never have to meet this clunker again. Mr. Smith, I apologize for showing you such an unsightly scene today. I look forward to continuing to work with you. Of course, I promise to ensure you won't have to deal with this again. Sorry again. I'll be in touch. Likewise, I'll remember your face now. Indeed, people who can work really do stand out. Excuse me. Everyone's making fun of me. It's infuriating. The girls, who had hardly eaten, ended up leaving. They must have been looking forward to the day, but it all turned sour because of Jake's selfishness. Did he even realize that? Tyler, Maria, and I exchanged sarcastic remarks about Jake, who noticed and became furious. He was clueless, never listening to others, but always quick to react to his own issues. Such an annoying man. Richard, I'm really sorry. I know you're busy, and I took your time. Don't worry, Tyler. It was worth it to see Jake's antics. What? I haven't done anything embarrassing. You have. All that bragging and belittling others. That's not what a winner would do. Not listening to you and following my dreams was the best decision I ever made. As you can see, I've achieved my dreams and goals. Let's forget the past. Actually, I need a favor. Jake, conveniently trying to act as if his embarrassing behavior never happened. It is endlessly petty. He's audacious enough to even ask for a favor. I had no intention of helping him, but I decided to listen to what he had to say. What is it? I can pay for the meal if you want. I can afford to help a poor countryman. That's expected, right? You're rich. That's not expected at all. Get a grip, Jake. I'll pay. Don't get so worked up, Tyler. It's rare to see you like this. Tyler, it's okay. Let's hear what Jake has to say. My request is, could you lend me some money? What? You just said you had plenty of money. Richard lives a miserable life, but I'm successful. Well, you know, I just wanted to brag a bit. I spent too much on girls this month, and it's a bit tight. Unbelievable. You're completely finished. Tyler, be quiet. I'm having an important conversation, right, Richard? Think of it as helping a friend. Jake, you said you were successful at work. Even if this month is tough, won't you manage next month? That's the thing, Richard. Listen, my company has no eye for talent. They don't appreciate someone as capable and good-natured as me. Instead, they promote totally useless people before me. What do you think of that as a business owner? I don't think you need to say more, Tyler. I would never lend money to anyone except for business purposes. Come on, then, can you hire me at your company? I want to quit my current job where I'm not appreciated, but it's a hassle to look for a new one. If you're the boss, you can bypass all the difficult processes, right? That would be great. No. What? Why not? We're friends, right? Tyler is a friend, but you're just an acquaintance from school. Why are you being so cold? Are you still mad about the past? Don't sweat the small stuff. If you say you'll hire me, I'll apologize. Okay. You should apologize first. Let's go, Richard. This isn't going anywhere. Right. So long, Jake. Don't think we'll meet again. Take care. Wait a minute. Hey, Tyler and I left Jake, who was stubbornly clinging on. Of course, I covered the bill. The amount Jake was supposed to pay made me doubt he ever intended to cover it. If the mixer had gone as planned, he probably would have tried to get Tyler and me to pay. He must be really annoying at work. No doubt, a guy who constantly lies like that can't be trusted at work. Maybe I should ask you for a job. You're always welcome, Tyler. I'll skip all the hard processes for you. Jake would cry. Later, I found out that Jake was considered a burden at his company due to his poor performance. Jake would be easier to manage if he accepted a less involved role at the company, but he mistakenly thinks he's competent, leading him to constantly overstep his bounds and face reprimands. Despite being the cause of his own troubles, he vents his frustrations at mixers, where he boasts to women about his supposed work competence and stature. He even complains that it's unfair for someone as capable as him to go unrecognized at his company. As someone involved in human resources, I see Jake as a textbook example of the type of person you should never hire. Following our encounter, Jake continued his old ways despite being rejected for a loan and a job by me. He spiraled into a debt-ridden life. Every time he returned to our hometown, he bragged just like at the mixers, which eventually led to everyone getting tired of him. Tyler, revealing the truth about Jake, only accelerated his alienation from our community, and he seldom returns home now. On the other hand, I successfully persuaded Tyler to join my company. Knowing Tyler is a person who never lies, I was confident in our built trust. For executive roles, we need people like this. People who can be trusted wholeheartedly. So, I appointed him to an executive position soon after he joined. Tyler initially thought the role was too good for him, but I convinced him to accept it, assuring him of my trust. I'm currently venturing into a new business, and having Tyler as my close aide makes movements much easier. The prospect of steering new ventures is exhilarating. I'm grateful to have realized my aptitude for management at a young age, and for being a person who can act decisively. While I'm thankful for the support of those around me, I'm equally proud of my initiative. I look forward to driving my company to new heights.